Yes. So, welcome. I'm your host, Ladeinde, of course, on Adeba CTV. And we're here, we're going to be interviewing Royal Majesty. You guys, I'm hot. So, let me introduce you to His Royal Majesty, the AKARIGBO of REMO, OBA BABATUNDE AJAYI, Chairman of Ogun State Council of OBAs. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You guys, you know that was a mouthful, but we're trying.
You did well.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so welcome again to Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
I believe this is your first time here.
That's a king, yes.
Yes, as a king. So welcome again, sir. And so we're definitely going to just be asking, a couple of questions because, of course, we would like to know you a bit better. And we know you've done a couple of interviews before, but this is, I guess, for the audiences that are based here that don't really speak Yoruba quite well and don't quite understand. So, yes. Let me go ahead with some of my questions. Before you became the OBA, we know your line of profession was an accountant, a lawyer. I would probably assume a businessman because we know most Nigerians or 95% of Nigerians are businessmen and women. So I will add that to the title. So what now inspired you to become or to want to become an OBA of the land?
Okay, maybe we just start the correction from there. I was never a businessman. I was a practitioner. I was an insolvency practitioner. It's a tough one. You know, especially if you're in this climate, you know that insolvency has a bit of law and accountancy. So I had to, because I needed both. So I had to do both so that I can apply the knowledge to the practice of insolvency, but I've always been an insolvency practitioner. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I never knew I would become an OBA. I was shocked. So all my friends were shocked that I became an OBA. But it is what it is. And since we've been enthroned, it's been a journey, a roller coaster ride. A journey that you can never say with regret, even though there is it has its own downs, but not the upside a bit more.
Wow. So was there any time during that journey that you felt that, being an OBA would require a little bit more from you that you were willing to give?
Yeah, like I said, I never knew. In fact, we have a tradition in Yoruba land that once most people who tend to become OBA, they are usually called Prince.
Yes.
I never addressed myself as a prince. I was just simple junior guy, Mr. Junior guy, all along, all through my life. But it did happen that it was something that I didn't want, and that's the honest truth. I never wanted it, and I've told the story over and over and over again. How I didn't even know that we belonged to a ruling house. I never knew, but I knew that my dad has a constant presence in the palace, the chief and the head of a particular ruling house. I didn't even know. All I knew was I tried to encourage my dad to go to the palace. I was old, so he was tired. So let him go and spend his time in the palace. And but now and then, when I run into my predecessor, he will always make reference to, today you don't come home, you don't do that, We're waiting for people like you. And you'll be shocked that you will take over from me. And the man is a jolly good fellow. So sometimes you think it's spirits or a bit of alcohol
that is speaking.
That is speaking, but that's the way it was then. But when he passed on, and the whole town was agog with my name, and I said, guys, what's going on here? And somebody said, that your member of this ruling house did this and that. Now brought me a copy of a gazette. Gazette is actually the law. That, and that really shows that we have 4 ruling houses, and the next ruling house is the Oromuwa ruling house, which is my ruling house. That's when I knew that it is a reality, and it can actually be true. But having said that, it's the fact that I never saw myself as an Oba. So even at that, it was a no good area for me. I couldn't even tell my wife, so it was not something I really wanted to do. And I recall one of my uncles, now late now, who dared to call me. And I said, please stop calling me on this issue. It's not something I would do, After a time he refused, I blocked his number. I did. And I think it was during summer then, and I traveled to my family, to see my family. So people were all over the place that I ran away. That my mom convinced me to run, and I decided that I would run away. But at that point in time, I didn't make up my mind. Even when I saw my wife had the story too. Asked me, women asked me pointedly.
Yes.
And I said, no way, it's not going to happen. This and that. But coincidentally, I think around that time, it was holiday time. So we went on the cruise, and that was one of the few times that I had time to reflect.
Okay.
And I looked at myself and I looked at my age then. I wasn't getting any younger, and I thought maybe it's time for me to give something to my people. 2 and 2 together. That decision was taken on that cruise. Back when I still remember, I just can't remember, but if I do some research, I know the route. Because it really helped me to think. And I came to the realization that maybe it's the best thing for me to do. But I thought that was going to be easy, So I took that decision. Of course, I couldn't even tell my wife that I had taken that decision. So I didn't even say anything to her. I just kept quiet, Of course, the rumor mill was going on. My wife would ask me, and I would say, don't mind them. Are they going to force me to do this and that? But then I already made up my mind. I knew, women, when they say about to love you so much, they will always come around.
Definitely.
But I would say that, one would have thought that with the noise, with the whole thing, everybody, someone will even teasing me that the government is looking for me to. I said,
that's serious.
That easy, but it wasn't like that. It was a very tough, turbulent competition. At the end of the day, we had close to about 19 contestants, including professors, But somehow, that's the way it ruled me, and that's the way it ended. And I'd like to add that it's very rare in Yoruba land to have a contest with title as prominent as that of AKARIGBO, and you will not have litigation, And I can assure you there was not a single litigation. Not a single litigation. I even had time after the nomination, after the selection process, to go and sit down with my wife and go and beg. I had almost 6 months before my installation. Usually what happens these days is that government is confirming the kingmakers are mentioning your name today, tomorrow they're trying to swear you in quickly before somebody rushes to court. So I had enough time. That shows the acceptability of my people, and part of the thing that I bear, the burden that I bear, that I owe these people so much for the love and the confidence that they always had in me.
Wow, that's quite interesting. 19, that's a lot, and they all had rights.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. In fact, that 19 was those that got to the screening stage. We've had some, even within your own unit, you will have, done some sort of selections, screened off, screened off some people, screened off some people. So yes, they all had rights. They were all a lot part of the ruling house. Of course, we had some problems of allegations of people not belonging to the ruling house or the ruling family trying to contest. But you see, it's so difficult to truncate a process when you do that. If you do that, people will go to court and tell the court that, look, we've been excluded unjustly from this process. But once they participate, there's no way, somebody will come and say, oh, I was excluded from this process. So that was one of the reasons why we didn't encourage, trying to exclude people again, because we actually knew then that maybe 1 or 2 or 3 candidates not supposed to have put themselves in for the competition. But they did, but by and large, it went very well.
Yeah.
And it is where we are at today.
That's great. That's superb. Well, I guess that also shows the maturity of the culture, which is it's good to hear. And like you've mentioned, they welcomed you. So since you've been on seats, you've taken up that position. How has implementing or just doing what you need to do as an OBA, how has it been with the people? Has it been a positive result? Has it been negative? Has it been difficult?
Well, for anybody in administration, any form of administration, you will know that you always have your wins, and you always have your your minuses. But having said that, is that what we have recorded, the successes that we recorded, far outweigh what you can. I don't even want to say failure. Where we've not got into is what we'll say, because I always have a mantra, and my mantra is we are going to try. Nobody, and I say that a lot, nobody's going to accuse us of not trying. We will try. We will put in everything that we've got, because we have that sincerity of purpose, the love of the people, and the fact that we know what has been going wrong, and we were there to correct the injustice of the past. And once your people know that, once they know that you're sincere, once they know that you have their interest, you take them to wherever you want to lead them. I hope that it is a positive.
Okay, which is quite interesting, because I believe if what you just said, if it was something that those in the political state or federal seats were using as the mantra, I believe the country definitely would have been in a better.
I agree. But actually, I'm not going to even miss what in saying that. Because Nigeria used to be run by traditional rulers. So it used to be run by traditional rulers. You will know it very clear. There's just something in that position that had to, the responsibility that you can't afford to fail your people. And it should have been the same with politicians.
Yes.
Then maybe sometimes I even think maybe because it's not for life. My position is for life. Maybe the guy who's the politician knows that another 4 years, talk maybe 8 years, I'm out of here. I need to do whatever I want to do for that 8 years. Maybe that's why. Maybe we need to start to sit down to look at why is it that in those days that we had traditional rulers ruling the country that was much, much better off. Maybe we need to sit down. It's a line of discourse.
It's definitely one, because where the country is now, it's not looking quite positive. Okay, so thank you so much for that insight, definitely. And while we're on the politics subject, definitely in the media, we've seen where the politician Asiwaju Bola Tinubu came to meet a couple of the Obas. And from what we saw, it looks like it was accepted, it was approved. The Obas, I don't know if there's one that actually spoke on behalf of the others, but I believe it was said that the Obas are deciding or have decided to endorse Bola Tinubu in his ambition to becoming the next Nigerian president. What do you say in regards to the support of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in becoming the next president?
Well, maybe I need to say something, because the visit of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to Remo actually took place before the primaries of the APC. So it was not as much as endorsing him to be president of Nigeria. It was more to the fact that, look, he came to us, And don't forget that Remo has a very unique role to play. Then our son, then Professor Shibaju, who happened to be also running as a presidential candidate of BC, is from Remo. So he came to us and he needed to come and sell his own ideas to us, why we should pitch his strength, with him, and why, and more importantly, he knew then that we had no votes. It's an APC primary election, but I think true to his man, all he wanted to do was just to reach out to us and say, look, I am interested in, I know your son is also interested, but I am equally interested. And I will be a good candidate. But I'll say one thing, which I not said a lot, about Ashwa. Primaries are over. Absolutely over. He's not the APC presidential candidate. And I did mention it to him, that this life is a question of sequence and stages. That told him, and I said, look, you go ahead, that we cannot say anything now. We go ahead and get the permits of APC. The rest assured of the support of all the Remo Obas. That was the condition that I gave them, because our son was also contesting. I said, you go ahead and get the permits of APC. Immediately you get it, it's a game changer. And he said one thing, I don't know whether you've been to Shagamu. Sometimes people will talk, you wouldn't know whether he's talking at the politician or as somebody who, but I don't think that he spoke to me as a politician. When he came to me, and I have said this to one or two people, they didn't really believe what I said. Before we will go to meet the general public, we will have a private audience, and we had our private audience. And the first thing he said to me was, KBAC, and I said, what's the problem? He said, I've not been to Shagamu, but I just came to Shagamu now. I've been to Shagamu now some years ago, and I'm shocked with what I saw. I said, why should I do? He said, with the proximity of Shagamu to Lagos, I expect that I'll be seeing high rises, tall buildings, everything that Shagamu has not gotten the benefit of what it should get for its proximity to Lagos. What you expect from me? That's what I expect from him. In fact, I wanted to clap for him. But I didn't want the man to think, it is. I was moved for him to really understand, because I have not had any visit from anybody who will come specifically and tell me that, look, I've seen this town some years back. I have noticed that there is a change, and that I'm promising you that if I am there, there will be a change. That's a lot. But you see, like I said, at that point in time, there's nothing I could say.
Yes.
But now I can say it, because so the issue of DAT, I think that's even taken for granted. I don't think there is an issue there. We just pray for this country. We pray for our country. Nigeria is going through a lot, lots of challenges, and even for our youth, they need to understand that patience is very important. We know we've all had it very rough, and I'm not kidding. We're part of that system. We had it very rough. How many years? 16 years before the 8 years of this outgoing admission. It's been very, very tough. But there's nothing that patience cannot cure. Opportunities and hope and chance. The fact that it's just possible, that just maybe, there's somebody somewhere that can do something. But if we destroy what we have, what we have, we all need to regret it. And I pray, and I keep praying to God, and God has told me it won't destroy. So our youth will need that patience for us to just chill. I tell them to chill. We can't destroy what we have. And let's see what just maybe can get it right this around.
Yes, I agree. We should not be destroying anything, because before anything was built, it took a lot of people to build anything. So we should not destroy anything. Agreed.
Thank you.
But we also need to know where to put that energy, where to direct that energy. We can't just say because we shouldn't destroy, we should just sit back and relax. No, that energy as use needs to be directed somewhere. And if we do not have leaders to help in directing the youths in the proper channel, then eventually that's what it comes to, is to destroy.
I agree. But I agree with you. And so as a writer to what you've just said, maybe we just need that little patience now. Maybe just that little patience. Maybe just around the corner.
Well, I hope that 2023 around the corner is quite, actually, I have to say it's quite dicey, because we are trying to have, like you just mentioned, we should have patience.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things we need to be doing before that time comes.
Agree.
We can't just sit down and be looking. I believe the generation before us have been sitting down and looking.
I agree.
And we are tired.
I agree. And that's what they say about Nigeria, that we believe in prayers a lot.
Oh.
We will continue to, we do. We will continue to hope. I've always wanted a situation where, for once, we will have, you see, the problem we had in Nigeria, leadership,
yes,
is a key problem. If you had told me, that, I swear you, BABATUNDE, maybe when he was president of Nigeria, did X, Y, Y, Y. When he was president of Nigeria,
yes,
I would be one of those saying, no. But the only example I can give you, this man, was when he was governor of Lagos State.
Yes.
Lagos State is miles ahead of any state. I'm not kidding you. Any state, anywhere. Despite sometimes when you have a larger issue, despite the larger issues rubbing on Lagos State, that is one of the best states in Lagos State. Well, I'm not like my governor of Ogun State kills me. Ogun State too is next best to.
Yes, I have to agree. Ogun State is definitely.
Ogun State is next best to Lagos.
Is hanging in there.
Let me tell you, I'm not kidding you. Man did a lot. It's just something that he did. You see, he has his own baggage. Like every human being.
Yes.
But from what we have now, from what we have facing us, rather than this shout of, hey, this is this, we want to do this, you break this one, you break up this. But from giving the sum total of what we have now, let's go and do a good forensic analysis of what we have at present. Given the fact that those are the choices that we have, any objective mind will not have problem in moving towards and in gravitating towards where I've just mentioned now.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, it is going to be well. It will be well. You will remember today and you will tell me that AKARIGBO told you it will be well.
It will be well.
It will be well.
Yes, agreed, it will be well. But what needs to be done for it to be well.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And that's the part we are going now. Yes. You go and get your PVR, get your people, mobilize your people with this thing. Let's do it for our sake. And then come back and say, have you seen? We told you.
Yes.
Then it's a different ball game.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We'll be we're here. We're watching.
like we'll say in the debate. I would say, I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you.
Not quite. Well, we are here in the debate. Oh goodness. Yes. And like you mentioned, Ogun State is coming up too. Right beside Lagos State.
Absolutely.
They're doing their thing. Definitely. Close. Yes, close. I have to agree. I definitely have to agree. I was in Nigeria a couple of weeks back, and yes, I saw a couple of differences. But I always believe we can do so much better.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're moving, and I have to say congratulations for the fact that we're able to have a passport office in Shagamu. Let me clap for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's well. But how did that happen?
Well, it was a difficult process, not that easy. But actually, it's an initiative of the federal government during the tenure of the immediate past administration of Ogun State. Yeah, it's fair. The administration of Governor Amusu. That's how it came to be. But we knew then that the location was not the favorite of the government then. But notwithstanding, we were able to talk to them, and They saw it with us. All they wanted was for us to put certain things in place,
Okay.
which we did. You know, it was not just as if just decided, oh, mom, we'll build a passport office in Shagam. Well, we built the passport office. We gave them land, built, furnished, did everything. On top of it, when the approval came, it was not Christian passport office. It was Christian passport front office. That's what we had to go through, and a lot of people in that regard did a lot. The current Minister of Internal Affairs, love it. He knows he has my respect forever. He fought tooth and nail, even though I had to put some lots of people on him. Mrs. Tokumbo Aolo is the daughter of the late Eva Famolo. She did well to also help us, you know. But we got there, and it is what it is. It's now passport office Shagamu when you get your and if you know what's been trending now, the minister too. You go to the minister, you want to get your passport. He tell you there are fixed time schedules for you to get your passport. But if you want order and peace, you get some time, go to Shagamu. It's so organized. It's kudos to immigration office in Ogun State and possibly the ones in Shagamu. You will get it within the appointed time. You will not be obscured with long queues or no touts. You know, and that you know
very stressful.
Yeah, it's a very good process. And but I would say that sometimes when you look at efforts to put in and it's yielded results like that, people will not know what you went through to be able to get it. But kudos to a lot of people, even the Remo Development Goals Foundation, extremely good work that we did. We also have an organization called Bistro Royal Initiative for Development of Shagamu. Lots of efforts, but we're there, and I'm happy. Strangely, I have not even received my own passport from Shagamu because I got my few months to the opening of the passport office, so it's still valid. What am I going to do now? I have to wait until the expiry.
Oh wow, that's superb. It's great, but I'm just gonna do a little bit of commercial, and we're going to be rounding up soon. Thank you. Stay tuned.